We'd like to welcome our guests to the Ouachita Parish School Board meeting. Come anytime that your schedule will allow. Ms. Meekins, call roll, please. Here. 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 Let's stand, please, for the pledge to be done by Board Member Tommy Cumwell.
Attention, salute, flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Every case will be done by Mr. Bobby Jones.
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day, Lord, Father. Father, we just come to you this morning for asking you, Father, we just pray for your wisdom and guidance today, Lord Father, for the school board, for the decisions they make for the children, and faculty and staff, Lord Father, we just need no need. Father, we just want to pray for our country, Lord Father, as we go through yet again what seems to be another time, Lord Father, where things are just not quite right. Father, we just this year has just been one of just agony for some, Lord Father, and for others. Just, Lord Father, we just pray and ask you to do your thing. Father, we know that in the midst of this storm, that you will. Father, again, we just want to lift up our board members, Lord Father, our superintendent, Dr. Coker. Father, we just ask for this. Father, we just ask you to continue to watch over the students. We pray, Lord Father, for this disease that rampant, Lord Father. We just pray and ask you to remove it from our country, from our nation, from this earth. Father, we just want to pray for our servicemen and women, Lord Father, that watch over us and allow us to be able to meet in times like this. Father, again, we just thank you so much for your country.
Amen. Amen. Board moving down to the approval of the minutes, October the 20th, 2020. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes, please.
So moved.
Second. And a second. All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving down to agenda. Need a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Personnel report, Dr. Coker.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. We have a principal that will be retiring at midterm, Ms. Carmen Banks, who is principal at Central Elementary School. And so the interims we've not been filling, but since this is not going to be an interim position, I would ask that you let us go ahead and open that principal position for Central Elementary School. And Mr. Dice will go ahead and get a committee together, and we'll have someone in place by January, mid-January.
We need a motion and a second to open the principal position at Central Elementary.
I move we open the principal position at Central Elementary.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. Moving right down to business. Item number 1. To consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution providing for the issuance of sales of general obligation school refunding bonds, Series 2020 of East Ouachita School District of the Parish of Ouachita, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Grant Sluter.
Grant Sluter with Foley Udell, Bond Counsel, and Namby Thompson, Government Consultants, your municipal advisor. You have a resolution before you to provide for the refunding on the east side of the Series 2011 bonds. Pursuant to your prior authorization, the superintendent has executed the commitment letter with the bank that submitted the lowest proposal, and Namby's going to have the results of that and discuss with you the bank proposals that were received. The purpose of the resolution today is to provide for the details of that sale to the low bidding bank. All of the savings from this refinancing inure to the benefit of the property taxpayers of the East District. Very, very healthy refinancing, significant savings, and Nambi's gonna go through that with you now.
On November the 5th, we received 8 separate bids from 8 different companies to refinance your bonds. If you'll look, I left a cheat sheet there in front of you on the desk. We gave the potential purchasers 2 options, whether or not they wanted to allow the district the option to prepay the debt if the district had the opportunity in the future, or to take away that option. And you'll see in the first one, with non-callable, the lowest rate that you received was from Red River Bank, highlighted in the green, for 1.5%. Just to let you know, normally when you have that non-callable option, those rates are usually lower than if you get them what's the word I want to use? The callable option, thank you. And so if you look down the second box, you'll notice that Red River gave you the exact same rate. And so we are recommending that the district chose the Red River 1.5% interest rate for the callable option. That will save the district over $722,000 over the life of the issue. Also, we always like to remind everybody that we do not extend the debt. Your previous your previous bonds would be paid off in 2031. These bonds will be paid off in 2031 in the exact same rate. Lower the interest rate, and we're able to save over $700,000 for the benefit of the district. We're happy to answer any questions.
Do we have a motion and a second to take action with respect to adopting this resolution?
I so move.
Second. Any discussion from the audience? From the board? Need a roll call vote, Ms. Meekers?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Thank you.
And just one final comment, just concerning the magnitude of the savings. We look at a present value savings, which doesn't mean a lot to anyone, except that's how we measure the magnitude of the savings, given the State Bond Commission's requirement for economic refundings of outstanding bond issues of public bodies. They have a sliding scale on a percentage basis that they want to see. Your percentage savings were nearly 12%. The highest on the State Bond Commission scale is 5%. This is many more times the savings level you would see on the typical refinancing across Louisiana that's acceptable to the State Bond Commission when they give approval. So very, very good result.
And I want to just say, boy, this looks really easy and it looks really simple, but I will tell you, with Namdi and Grant and Regina and her department and the hours that goes into making these things happen, it's not nearly as simple as what it appears when they bring these great savings to our taxpayers in our district. So, and we're looking forward to a few more down the road. So thank y'all so much for what you do for our citizens in this district and the savings. We appreciate it.
Westside is up next week.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
We would like a guarantee that we'd get the same thing there also.
Grant was the last to speak.
Moving down to item number 2, consideration of policies. Ms. Cynthia Osmond.
Good afternoon. In your folder, you have 9 policies that I am presenting for your consideration. I will come back in December and ask for a vote. These policies will be emailed and mailed to you before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Thank you. Moving down to item number 3, consideration and approval of sales of a Eureka School property to Frosttown Water System. Mr. Elman Knowles.
Dr. Coker, Ms. Chiggs, members of the board. As you know, this matter was considered several weeks ago, the sale of the old Eureka School property. The board voted to sell the property to the Frosttown Water System for the amount of $67,000. The system was operating with an old legal description when they got the appraisal. When they had the property resurveyed, it was actually about a half an acre smaller. The proposal we're bringing to you today at their request is the per acre price remains the same, but because the acreage is actually 7.5 acres rather than approximately 8 acres, they're asking to reduce the purchase price from $67,000 to $62,000, which would be reflected by the appraisal. I would request today, and I've spoken to Mr. Avant and the folks at the water system. I told them I didn't think it was necessary that they be here today. The three things basically, and I think Scotty and Mr. Wagner's going to make the motion, but number one, the board needs to declare this is surplus property, it's unused, and to have the surplus property designation in our minutes. Number two, that the purchase price is being amended from 67 to 62 based on the revised appraisal, and then of course to authorize Mr. Hicks to appear on behalf of the board in connection with transactions. So I would request board action to make this revision on the purchase of this property to the Frosttown water system.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second for the Eureka School property of Frosttown water system?
I move we declare the land to be surplus property not needed by the Ouachita Parish School Board, and to accept the revised appraisal due to the new survey for $62,000 for 7.51 acres, and also to authorize Mr. Hicks to execute the sale.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the audience? From the board? All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 4, financial report for September the 30th, 2020. Ms. Regina Meekus.
Good afternoon. As we go further into the fiscal year of 2021, I know as I talked to you the last couple of months, I've reminded you that you're not seeing a lot of activity on your financial statement in the transition period due to basically, over the summer months, and then we have the period of time that our sales tax collections are accrued into the prior year for prior year collections. So September is when everything really picks up. That's when all of our current year salaries hit our financial statements, when we begin payroll for the year. Also, when we begin collections of our current year taxes. So if you'll look at page 1 on the general fund, you'll notice at the very bottom, we're ending this period with an estimated fund balance of $30,676,000. That is up from the prior year, about 9% up from the prior year at this time. It's due to a couple of items. One, we've seen an increase in our sales tax so far this year. We really are still operating after the shutdown. We're not back up to full capacity yet as far as being able to send people out to make repairs. So we're having a lot of delays in shipping whenever we order items. So we're still trying to get through that process. So you do see that our expenditures are lower right now than they typically are at this time of the year. We're also down employees from this time last year, which were, that follows the student count. So basically the changes that you see are not material, but just kind of falls in line with what we're seeing on the everyday as far as taking longer to get items, which means items that were ordered from July 1 forward, we're still waiting on some of those things. So our expenditures aren't quite up to what they would be at this point in a normal operating year. So we're still seeing a lot of adjustments for the pandemic situation.
are you anticipating that they will level out and become relative?
I would, due to a decrease in student count, I would hope our curve recovers, but I would say once businesses get back to normal operations, once schools get back to normal operations and we'll start seeing things like our shipping times being back to what they were. You know, a lot of businesses, whether they were shut down or not, may have just had an extremely high demand. You know, we have Chromebooks ordered that were ordered back in March that we won't have until later this month. So some things just aren't available. Some things, you know, instead of being here in 3 days, it may take 3 months. So we're just having to make adjustments as we operate through the pandemic and trying to get our system and our daily operations back as normal as possible. But I did, in reviewing the financial statements, what I'm seeing every day is really showing through here that there's just a little bit of a lag as far as everything getting back up to 100%.
Did I hear you say about our taxes?
Our sales tax collections are continue to grow.
Approximately 2.7 million?
2.7 million.
I think I heard you say around 9%.
That was our total.
Okay.
Our total fund balance grew from this time last year, grew about 9% in our fund balance in the general fund. Now our revenues, I don't have it broken down on this sheet, but our revenues are fairly flat from this time last year. We're at about 99% of our revenues from the prior year. So I think a lot of the growth in fund balance that we're seeing is from just a decrease in expenditures, either from a decrease in staffing, whether it be because of decreased positions due to a decrease in student count. Some positions were just having trouble. You know, I had a call from a principal the other day, wanted to hire a sub for a specific situation, and I answered back and said, yes, that'd be great. She texted me back the next day and said, couldn't find anybody. So you know, we are improvising and getting through the best we can, but we still see a lot of challenges.
You mentioned the Chromebooks anticipated being here at the end of this month. Is that from the initial order for every student having a Chromebook in their system?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that that's probably going to be closer to January now. Clint, do you want to address that?
We still don't have any solid EPA with the timing of all the orders in place right now. It is firmly closer to January. However, Dell has confirmed that some of the other big orders coming in before us have been shipped as much as a month earlier than estimated. So I'm holding out hope that sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas that we may actually start seeing it.
Question on that, do you think, Dr. Coker, that our need for those computers, you think it will remain at the same level, or will it?
Yes, I do. Okay. One of the reasons is that, you know, as we quarantine kids, some of the schools don't have enough computers to send home with the quarantining kids. Okay. And so our goal is to be able to put a device in every kid's hands. And, you know, we're also looking at another grant that's out there that, you know, it's for pre-K through 3rd grade, where we could possibly get an additional 700 devices for our schools that are in CIR, UIR, and Mr. Keehan and the group will be talking about this as we're looking down the road to be able to offset some of our devices in the lower grades. So a lot of our schools will put their devices in the kids, the tested grades hands first. And so that may mean that we may not have them in kindergarten or first grade or second grade. And so we're
How do we manipulate through that if they don't have it?
carefully. It's you have what you have, you know, but when we get these devices in, it should put us a little more than 1-to-1 in every one of our schools. We'll have a few backups out there.
Best of my memory, we ordered 14,000. We
I
had
mean-
6 and we ordered 4.
We have roughly 14,000 currently, so I believe we ordered 6,600.
That's
Okay.
it, 6,600.
Okay.
Right.
I knew 14 is the.
And they're all here, we should have enough to be 1-to-1, plus have some excess inventory, we'll have some inventory repair and stuff to keep everybody gets from it.
Right. One of the things that we have found out as we're doing virtual instruction is that it's really good for the teachers to have the same device that the students are using. And that has not always been the case. So we're trying to move, and that's where a little manipulation go around, to be able to put a Chromebook for that teacher to use as they're teaching through the Chrome to the students who are also getting lessons from the Chromebook. And, you know, we're still working through that process. We are certainly ready for these devices to come in so that we can start getting them out to all of our kids.
Okay. One other question. And what about schools and students who typically score lower? Are we making sure that they have devices in their hands in an effort to avoid, well, I won't say avoid, but probably experience any further decline?
Well, we've tried to make sure that all of our virtual students have the device in their hand first. And so that's kind of been the priority. That's also been our priority as far as making sure that, you know, that our tech support has been working on those teachers who are doing the virtual over the teachers who are doing face-to-face. And we're very limited in our numbers right now, and Clint can certainly attest to this. I think you've heard Kim Monroe also say that, you know, having the tech support out there, when you quadruple the number of devices and the number of people that's actually using this and are dependent on it to be able to secure it. And I think our guys have done a great job of, you know, we're not where we want to be, but we're making a little bit more ground. That's with his entire department being quarantined for 2 weeks. And so when that happens, you automatically are going to be behind at a, you know, at a pretty critical time of the year.
Yeah.
So it has been a challenge. I'll be honest with you on that. But I think that our teachers are doing the very best that they can do in the midst of the challenge. And, you know, we're just continuing to plug on.
Yeah, we are.
In January, once the computers come in, every student and teacher will have a Chromebook assigned to them. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is the intention. Yep.
We haven't worked through all the logistics, how that's gonna happen. We're gonna start having direct meetings. It's a lot of that, you know, we try to do at a high level, but not micromanage what principles and technology can do. They all have different systems to work for them that may not work for others. Will work for the elementary, may not work for the middle, so we don't have the specifics right now of how that's gonna work. Hopefully, if I'm not mistaken, the Chromebook is actually goes to they're gonna be delivered directly to the students where they're attending. So they will be ready to go when they reach the school, they can stuff be unboxed and handed to the students. So that's where it is. The setup will happen. They'll actually ship to a third party to take care of those.
That's the white glove treatment. I think that we paid extra for that to expedite that process. Yeah. Good question.
Is that all you have, Ms. Mickens?
I have lots.
Well, continue, please.
Well, I didn't know I was gonna get a vote, but you didn't have no more, but that's fine.
Okay. Well, jump ahead. I just wanted to bring to your attention on the next to the last page, looking at the general fund and the maintenance and operations sales tax. We're down in the general fund about 1% revenue over this time last year, mainly due to a decrease in our MFP, which mirrors our student population. Likewise, our expenditures are fairly steady. They're about 5.3% over what they were this time last year. If you look at the M&O at the bottom of the page, you'll notice that revenue is up about 5.5% over what we were this time last year. And our expenditures are down 41%. And this number really stands out to me because that's what I was talking about earlier. We, getting people in place to do what needs to be done, to be able to order products and get them in here, you really see a difference in this M&O right here. And that's evidence of the lag time that we have in a lot of instances now. But we're working through our principals and our teachers are making it work, and we're adapting as we go. Sales tax is not in the report that you have, but I will touch on this. We received the sales tax report yesterday from the city of Monroe, and our sales tax collections continue to grow. We are up about 7% in each of our sales taxes for the calendar year, over the calendar year to date last year. The only one that's a little bit lower is the parish-wide that includes the city of Monroe. They did see quite a bit of decrease during the shutdown due to the mall area being closed and things that affected the city more than it affected the parish outline collection. So you do still see that the city, the tax that includes the actual population of the city of Monroe, is only up 3.5%, 3.3% for the calendar year to date, where the outlying parish areas are up 7.2%. So that is quite promising for the district. And that's
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial report for September the 30th, 2020.
That's so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion from the audience? Any more discussion from the board? All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no? Motion carries.
Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity to have some discussion.
Yeah. Twice? Oh, that's okay. Now item number 5, liquidated damages, Sterlington Middle School. Mr. Bobby Jones.
Mr. 6 board members, in your folder, you should have a note for me on the Sterlington Middle School roof repairs that were made after Hurricane Laura. Shortly after Hurricane Laura, we had Hurricane Delta came through. The contractor needed to get that back in the dry, so they fell behind. The contractor asked for some rain days to be put in the contract, which were not in there originally. In lieu of changing the contract and bringing a new contract to you, what I'm requesting is that we waive the liquidated damages that were in the contract. The contractor really was at a disadvantage because of the storm that came through. They did a good job getting things back in the dry. So at this time, I would like to request from the board that we waive the liquidated damages. They're about a week behind, and when I talked to the contractor yesterday, he said he would be finished tomorrow. I don't have that. He was supposed to get that to me in writing. I haven't gotten that yet, but he's supposed to be finished tomorrow.
That's all roof damages that occurred?
at Sterling Middle School. So I'd like to make that request, Mr. Hicks, that we waive the liquidated damage on the repairs to the Sterling Middle School.
We have a motion and a second to waive the liquidated damages.
I so move we waive the liquidated damages since it was out of control of the contractor due to weather-related activities.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion from the audience? From the board? All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Moving down to item number 6, tree removal at Lakeshore Elementary School. Mr. Bobby Jones.
As Mr. Hicks, last board meeting, there was a request made, to get some pricing to remove all the, trees, that surround Lakeshore Elementary School, because of some issues that we had with the storms, trees falling down, limbs in the trees, so forth. I was able to get 3 quotations back. This is also in your folder. As of right now, Cajun Tree Cutters and Mulholland actually, Mulholland's a little bit less. I will need to add at least 3% to both these prices because neither of them actually included a performance payment bond, which we will need. So that price will go up about $2,400, $2,500 for both of them. Both of them indicated it would be around 3%. The $2,000 cost difference would need to be weighed out between Cajun saying that they can get finished by the end of the month. Mulholland said it would take them a couple of months because they're gonna have to work in and out. So they're not gonna just go in there and take all the trees down. They'll take them out a little bit at a time. I'm not discounting the fact that their price is lower, but I'm just saying if the board chooses to want to go ahead with this, you've got one vendor that's gonna basically be done in about 10 or 15 days. The other one's gonna be to the end of the year.
And that's Mulholland?
Yes.
No, that's 2 months. Cajun.
Cajun will be finished in 10 to 15 days. Mulholland will take 2 months.
2 months. And they're the lowest bid, Mulholland.
They are the lowest one, yes, Mr. Chairman.
But based on the information that I got from Mr. Graves and also visually taking a look, the quicker probably we get something done, probably the better because of the liability that's probably involved in the next 2 months. You never know. We have another storm and a tree may fall in the wrong direction. As opposed to what has been transpiring now. In fact, when I went and took a look, I did see some trees sort of lingering, hanging all over the playground. So I think.
Are those trees been taken up by the playground yet? Have the trees been removed from the playground?
No.
Along that playground where the buses park, who's gonna take that fence down? That fence gotta come down both of these.
We'll get somebody.
Well, I like to make them, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I need a motion and a second, and we can run Cajun, then run Mulholland, but I need to separate them or make a motion or in a second to whichever one you want to do, Dabo.
I'm gonna make a motion to use Cajun, put them down 10, 15 days.
Okay.
Yeah. A second.
You got a second? Motion and a second. Is there any discussion from the audience? Any more discussion from the board?
I just have one question, Mr. Hicks.
Okay.
There's 2 prices there. One will be to take the trees out, the other one will be to also grind the stumps.
Yeah.
So all we need to know is we're going to grind the stumps as well.
Yeah, you was,
Mr. Graves,
I think you was doing both of them together, wasn't you? Or were you separating the 2?
I'm just gonna leave the trees down.
Oh, you're just gonna get the trees down?
Personally, my standpoint with the price that we got here and the fact that the eyesore of those stumps for $8,000 on 210 stumps.
That's cheap.
I think we need to go ahead and proceed with that.
I agree.
Mr. Graves, that's what I was gonna mention. I did, the few people that I talked to about this, they would recommend we go ahead and take the stumps out. We're gonna go to trees.
Yeah. They will, also, would you're including in your motion the 3% possibly for the performance bond?
Yeah. I'll already do the motion. Cajun Tree Cutters, cut the stump, trees, move the stump, and add 3% for the bond.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Any discussion from the audience? From the board?
Bobby, does that include cleanup too around there? Any
Yes, sir.
ruts and stuff they mess up, they will
take
clean it
care of
up?
Anything that disturbed the grounds, they will put it back the way it was. Both of these vendors are bonded and insured. So everything is, we're in good shape.
You know, we talked last board meeting about this and, you know, we didn't know what the actual cost was and of course, having all the damage throughout the parish and having some people come by and give estimates on trees taken down and removed. I got to calculate it, $405 a tree for 210, 15 trees. That's, in my opinion, real reasonable. You know,
Yep.
to take the tree down and remove it. Of course, I know they're gonna recoup some money from the wood. Is that right, Bobby?
They'll belong to them, Mr. Manley, so whatever they plan on doing with them. Once they take them down, they'll belong to them.
Any more discussion from the board? All in favor, yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks.
Thank you, Mr.
Board.
Jones.
Thank you.
I appreciate that very much.
Moving down to item number 7, construction renovation project report, Mr. Slusher.
Yes, Mr. Hicks, board members, you all have a project status report in front of you from DBA. And, it's from the Bowler, new Bowler School, and also the Pine Crest and the roof. We had a meeting there this morning at 9 o'clock. The new Bowler site. They really don't want to say, excuse me, how far ahead they are, but they are ahead of schedule. I would guess at least a month, maybe more. If you go out and look, they've got buildings forward, they've got blocks going up on the A and B. They should have the footings and everything forward. So the other way, I think he said this week. So they're really moving along good. Even though it's bad weather, they're going to continue working. On the roof, the Pine Crest and Glenville, both of them will be complete this week. The roofs are already have been completed. They're just doing another flashing around both of those schools. It's also contact that they'll be through this week for the next flash. Moving on, they're back going full speed after having that wall blown down and getting engineers to tell them what they had to do. They had to completely take that wall down and start over again. So that has been a delay at good long. We have a meeting scheduled next Tuesday, the 17th, at good long at 9 o'clock. This monthly construction meeting. Those guys will attend if you possibly can. Last time we met last year, and I feel sure we'll do that again this time, so we can spread out there. That's all I have, Mr. Dixon. I'll ask you questions. I do want to bring up this Noah notified us this morning that we completed the buy-sell agreement on the 15 of 39 acres of land out in front of both high schools where the new frozen middle school was going. It's mainly not going to say something about that.
You pretty well done said everything, Ken, but it's great news. I mean, we've been working with Mr. Hakem for several months now. I know Elmer's been actively involved in that process, and looks like, according to Elmer this morning, the great news is we've reached an agreement. So we will be purchasing that land that we've identified across from the Sturrington High School. I think it's going to be a great location. I know Sturrington people are excited about it. I'm excited about it, and I think once it's all completed, I think it's going to be a great facility that will coordinate with the elementary and the high school, and the traffic will flow great. So I'm excited about it. Appreciate Mr. Hakem working with us on that opportunity. So appreciate all the work Elmer put in on this too. So it's been a long process, but I'm glad we finally got it completed and finalized with the buy-sell on Sturgeon Middle School.
Okay. Thank you, Ken. Moving down to item number 10.
I got a question for you. Have you heard anything about the roof replacement at Ouachita High School?
The only thing, they hadn't set a date when they're gonna start re-roofing it. The roof was defective. The manufacturer, just people down here, they agreed that the roof was defective, and they have agreed to replace the entire roof at Ouachita High School at no cost to the school board. When he's gonna start, I don't know. Mr. Glaze, they're planning on doing it in sections. As far as a start date, I don't have a start date for you.
They want to take the whole roof.
Going to replace the whole roof. Yeah.
Good.
At their cost. And any damage done underneath the roof, but this is warranty also.
Have we made progress on our boiler check yet?
The notice was sent out yesterday afternoon, late. We received our final sales tax deposit notification about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Not too bad. It was held up by the superintendent about a half.
Yeah, right. Is that what you were asking? Yeah. Or the insurance check?
Insurance check.
He was asking about the insurance check. Yeah.
Thanks for that information.
Yeah.
I'll just ask you.
I'll give a little more specifics on that in a minute.
I figured you would. Insurance, all of the information the person has to be adjusted. He is working through it. I touched base with her today, but so as of right now, I anticipate that.
We are, best case scenario is this is resolved before we get out next Friday for Thanksgiving break. That's what we're anticipating.
Any more questions for Ken or Ms. Meekers? Thank you, Ken. Moving down to title number 10, evaluation of bids. There is evaluation of bids number 2021, Chiller Calhoun Elementary. Funding source is M&O for $48,000. Mr. Bobby Jones.
We received 2 bids for the chiller at Calhoun Elementary School. I'm recommending that we accept the low bid from Train for $43,700.
Yeah. We have a motion and a second to accept this bid for $48,000 from Chiller at Calhoun, M&O funding source.
43.7. Mine says 43,000. 43,700.
43.
Yeah.
It's got 48 here.
That's your budget. That's the budget amount.
Yeah, with the. Oops, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, mistake. There's a big
Train for
tab.
43,700. I'm
Yep.
sorry, I was reading off the list here. Okay. So we got a bid for 43,700. We got a motion and a second.
I move we accept the bid from Train for $43,700.
Second.
Any discussion from the audience? From the board? All in favor, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed, no? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Thank you, board.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Permission to bid, we have none. And gentlemen, our next board meeting will be December the 8th at 12 o'clock. Dr. Coker?
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. As Ms. Meekus was saying, that our business department has been working really hard on counting employees, and we were waiting for the final payment to come in order for us to distribute the 14th check. This is the one that normally goes out in November. And with their hard work and proactive status of counting our employees and getting ready, we did receive that last amount yesterday. It was wired to the account. And I am very happy to say, even in the times that we have been going through, that this 14th check is up for our instructional employees. It will be $3,180. That is up $360 from last year's 14th check. For our 9 and 10 month employees, it's $1,540, That's up $175 from last year's 14th check. And our 11 and 12 month support is $2,050, which is up $230 from last year's 14th check. So, whereas our 13th check was down a little bit, this one came up, and so I'm really excited to be able to share this with our employees. They worked so hard, and so this is very deserving, and we certainly thank our taxpayers for shopping Ouachita Parish and shopping local. That is what drives these taxes, and it just helps our employees. So that's all I have.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.